Okay, I'll see if that works. Hi, Karen. I'm sorry, I forgot my iPad again. So I will try to pay attention to the comments. I just want to pull out some paper. I'm going to be doing some fast and fun cards. Hi, Linda. Someone asked me about the other day. So I thought this would be a great way to do some simple cards. Hi, Marlene. With not a lot of supplies. I want to pull something out though, because I want to show you guys something I did. I pulled this out. Does anybody remember this little gem? Remember this? It's really tiny. Has a little foam mat. I'll give you another clue. These little things. Give me one more. Hi, Sharon. Hole punch and a flattener. Do you guys remember these? I love these. They're so cute. I believe they were the little, I think they were called eyelets. So anyway, the other day, Rainbow Stamper does this thing for school that he does at school, and it has crafts and stuff. It's basically encourages them to read, and he told me a couple of them have crafts. It's like, I really want to make one. So anyway, we made these. I have to take a picture and share them with you guys, but we made these little llamas, and they're supposed to poke a hole in it with a craft knife, which sounds crazy, but anyway, obviously they tell you to have parental supervision. So I said, let me get out my Stampin' Up! Tools that I still have. So I punched some holes, and I used my little, it's a very, very tiny self-healing mat. It's a good thing I save all this stuff. It all comes in so handy. So anyway, hi Amy. Thank you for joining. You think you still have yours too. So anyway, we made some llamas. I'll have to post a picture. I'll post it on Facebook. I don't know if I can post pictures here on YouTube. I might be able to. So if I can, I'll post a picture of it. But anyway, we made 3 llamas, and you cut felt, or I do have a crocodile, but I had this way before a crocodile. This is as long as I've been a stamper. This is how old this is. So like 15 or 17, probably like 19 years now that I think about it. Maybe even longer than that. But anyway, today we're going to make some cute cards. So I shared these the other day on my Facebook page. I was just crafting, and I was just making some thank you cards because I needed to do some thank you cards. So I made these cards, and these were out of the Flower and Field DSP. There's 1, there's 2, and there's number 3. So someone asked if I did a video, but I'm like, no, but that's a good idea. But instead of using this one, since I already shared that, I thought what I would do is use the Berry Delightful DSP, because I'm sure plenty of people have it. You know, Karen, I never had a crocodile. Funnily enough that you say that. I bought one not that long ago. Mine is not Stampin' Up. It's We Are Memory Keepers. And I wish I would have known how cool this was back then, because again, you could definitely set the set your eyelets with that and the hole punch. It's super handy, but it totally replaced the need to have a hammer. I have a little ball peen hammer that I use in my craft room. So anyway, we're going to use Berry Delightful. So what I did is I'm going to pick 3 sheets, and I tried the other day, so I'm going to see if I can pick something that'll go with it. But I just used 1 color cardstock. So if you notice on all of these, they all have Old Olive. So I'm going to try. And the Berry Delightful is really fun because it has a lot of really realistic colors and patterns in it. It's beautiful. You actually can get this free with the stamp set. So I did bring out the Berry Blessings. You could use this, but I also have Peaceful Moments and Tranquil Thoughts, because those both have a nice thank you in them. Hey, Barbara. So I think what I'm going to do is I definitely want to use the blueberry paper. So I'm going to do that. And how about this strawberry paper that has the little flower on it, because there's blue flower. I wanted to do something different. So instead of green, go with blue. And I think this blue might be complementary. So I'm going to use the blackberries, I guess they are. Hi, Mary. So those are going to be my 3 sheets. And I'm going to show you what I did. Pretty simple, nothing crazy. So I'm going to grab, I think this is Pacific Point. Yes. Although blueberry bushel would look nice. So I'm going to do Pacific Point. So I'm just going to grab 3 sheets. I'm going to grab 4 just in case. So I have 4 sheets of cardstock. And that's going to be it. So I'm going to try to make this super simple. And I apologize, I didn't bring my iPad, so if I don't see your comment, I will check back through because I did load it on my backup phone here. But I'm going to move all this stuff out of the way. Oh, one other thing I'm going to grab just to make it faster. I'm going to grab my my die cutting machine. Now, when I took this downstairs, full disclosure, the other day, I did just use the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Blech, that's a mouthful. But I tried to stick to just 2. So I brought 2 stamp sets. So I'm only bringing in the Berry Blessings as a suggestion. You don't have to use this. But I think it'd be really nice. You could definitely wing some great sentiments out of this. But I just wanted to do kind of thank you cards because I'm always running short on thank you cards. The students always give me gift cards. The parents of the students give me gift cards. I started as a Norwex consultant, so I had a party, which was a shocker, so I made thank you cards for those. That's what I needed. I already mailed out my thank you cards for January, but I'm going to need February thank you. So if you order from me this month, you probably get one of these, and that way I'll have some extras. But what I want to do is I don't want to use too many colors. So for this, I grabbed something that would be complementary. So I actually went with Night of Navy, and then I did Balmy Blue. So since we're doing Pacific Point, I wonder if it'll look nice if I do... I'm going to try Shaded Spruce. I was going to say Garden Green, but I feel like we need a little pop. So Shaded Spruce and Poppy Parade. So those will be my 2 colors. So Shaded Spruce, Poppy Parade. Hopefully they'll work. We'll have to see how that works out. I have my 3 pieces of paper, and the other thing I have are stitch shapes. So this is pretty minimal in the card making department, okay? So let me move these things over. Move this over here. We'll do our card cutting first, and then I'll show you what we're going to do sentiment-wise. So the only other thing you're going to need is some white cardstock. And I'm going to grab my trimmer. And then I'm going to just flip you guys down. So bear with me. All right, turn you around. It's beautiful and sunny here in Maryland today. It was really, really nice yesterday, but that only lasted about a minute. And then it got chilly again. I mean, granted, I know it's still February, but we had like a little spring preview yesterday. It was so nice. I'm also finishing up my February club. So it is now only in the, if you want to purchase the video and PDF. I almost said DSP, the PDF and the video. So as soon as I get all those, Amy, I do have your club to mail out. I will mail everything out. So I'm just scoring these at 4 1/4, cutting them at 5 1/2. I'm going to do 2 one way and 2 the other, just to show you. So I tried to use as much of this as possible. So there's probably not really a lot of waste. And I figured this would be a great way if you have like some DSP samples, if you did a paper club of some sort. You guys know I do a paper club, which is always fun. So if you might have that, I figured this would be a good way to get some really quick ideas. So scoring at 5 1/2 and cutting at 4 1/4. Okay, so I have 4 tall and skinny, and then 4 short and wide. So we call these sometimes also hamburger and hot dog style cards. So I'm going to grab my paper, and I'm just going to make a simple cut. It was easiest to kind of do this at 3. And I probably could have done that a different way. I didn't think about that. So that's 3, and I'm going to cut by 4. So here's 2. And then same thing here, 3 by 4. Now for this piece, I'm actually going to just cut this into 1/2-inch strips. So I'm just going to move this down the line. I don't know which side I'm going to use yet. So that'll be the only difference. Whoopsie, I'm getting a little crazy here. I got to take it down a notch. This one actually I wasn't going to do, but I kind of laid the cardstock out and I thought it looked cute. So I have 4 strips. Okay. And then I have my other 2 by, I think this is 3, 2 by 3 piece. And then I have 2 pieces that are 3 by 4. So again, we can always go to the other side. So I'm going to put these on the side. Now for the next one, I'm going to do it the smarter way. So I'm actually going to cut this down to 4 inches. So this one is 4 by 6, and then I'm going to cut these to 3. So I have 2 pieces that are 3 by 4. And what I'm going to actually do with this one is I'm going to trim this down. Hold on, because this one's going to go across. I think that should still, we'll see. Might go to that side. We'll have to see which one looks better. But I'm going to cut this to 5.5. And this could be the only one where I'm kind of like, maybe it might not match with the blue, but we'll see what it looks like when we put it together. So I have 3 for that one. So again, I took a 1/2 inch off of here. So this is 2 by 5.5, and then I have 3 by 4. And last but not least is the berry. Let's see. I'm just going to do the same thing for that one. So I'm going to cut this at 4. And we'll do 3 by 4. Now this one, I really like that strip, so I'm going to go with the same thing for that. You don't have to. The other thing you could do if you wanted to get 4 cards out of this is you could actually trim this down to be 1 inch. But I'm not sure quite how it would look. So we're going to save this piece. Okay, so we have all of our bases and our layers. So now all we have to do really is, got one other piece over here. Maybe we can combine these two for something. These 2 little strips. I don't know. We'll have to see. They kind of look a little kooky together. But so then we only have to figure out what we're going to do with our shapes. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a piece of Whisper White, Basic White, whatever it is that's over here. It's white of some sort. So I have my white. And then I'm going to do Shaded Spruce and Poppy Parade. I wonder how Poppy Parade's going to look. We're going to have to take a peek at that. So I'm going to do a couple different ones. I'm going to do a thank you. And mind you, when I do send these out as thank yous for you all, for my Stampin' Up! Customers, I try never to write in them. That way, if you want to reuse it, so you may get a card that doesn't necessarily say thank you, just because maybe you might need it for a different occasion. So I'm going to do a thank you. And let's see if we can fit this in here. And the other thing is when I did these shapes, oh my goodness, when I did these shapes, I never did a square. So it's kind of tight, but it still did work. I didn't do a square only because I kind of thought, since everything else was pretty square, I didn't really want to make it too square. I hope that makes sense. I might be a little goofy when I'm saying that, but let's see what this looks like. Happy birthday. We could do that with the oval. So you have 2 right there. So I'm going to go ahead and run these through the die cutting machine. And I'm going to show you one other thing. I'm going to run these through. And this is the beauty of these type of cards, because you're going to make a whole bunch of them relatively quickly. But if you wanted to, you can always jazz them up. So we have a thank you and we have a happy birthday. But if that's just a little too boring, you can always add in a little element. So we could add in a little bit of the leaf action or something like that. So I'm just going to do this because it's pretty simple. So I'm going to grab my little leaf, and that's from Berry Blessings. There is another coordinating stamp that goes with that too, by the way. So we'll just put this. I don't want too much. Okay, so there are those 2. So that's 2. So I'm going to do other ones that are just very plain, but that's 2. One other thing you could do if you wanted to take this up another notch. So I'm just going to make sure this is clean. Use your blender pen, and you can actually just kind of drag in the color from your freshly stamped image. So really, we didn't do much of anything except stamp 2 different inks, and then we're just going to bring in a little bit of color from our image that we stamped. And then look at that. Very simply, minimal tools and a totally different look. I'll do the same thing here. That one. That way you have a whole lighter shade of ink, but really you just use the inside. So really simple for that. So there's those 2. I want to do one. I don't really know if you would send a berry card as a sympathy. I'm thinking probably not really terrifically appropriate. I guess you could send something plaid. Gosh, I'm a terrible person when it comes to making those kind of judgment calls, because I kind of also think that sometimes maybe somebody needs a little bit of sunshine, and really, regardless how you're providing it, maybe it's better than not getting a card at all, but I don't know. That could just be me. So if that is, somebody tell me. I really need to clean my Stampin' scrub because it is filthy. So here's a happy birthday. I'm going to see if I can squeeze another thank you in down here. So now if you wanted to do something different, I'm just going to wipe this one off. So this one we did green sentiments. What you could do instead is add, now granted, you remember we have the raspberries here. We don't really necessarily have the strawberries. So the strawberries, I believe, are in the stamp set that's in the celebration catalog. So I'm going to just do I want to say it's a blob. It's not really a blob, but it's a very loose strawberry. I'm sorry, raspberry. So I haven't stamped this before, so I want to see what it looks like. So I think stamped off would be kind of good because it's not really, doesn't look too raspberry-esque. So watch this. Oops, I missed a little bit, but that will cut off. So here's that, right? So let's say we got that. That was our little more raspberry look. But then say if you're like, well, I like it, but I feel like it needs a little bit more definition because it kind of just looks too blobby. So since we stamped off, what we can do is we can full strength ink, and I just want to make sure because I've not used this before. Okay, so we can full strength ink the berries. All right. Now, that is a little bit dark. I'm going to stamp this off just a little bit. It's a little bit dark for this birthday right here. So it's kind of a tiny bit, that might be a little bit too much the way we went there because you can't really see the birthday as much, but we're going to go with it. And actually, this one here is just a little too light. So I'm still going to die cut these. I'm going to use them because no matter what, it may dry a hair lighter. So I'm going to just cover these two just for a minute. So again, remember, we've only still used one. We used Peaceful, I'm pretty sure this is Peaceful Moments. Yes, Peaceful Moments. So I'm just going to put these in here for now. I did not clean those. So I'm going to put these through and die cut them. And even as this dries, it's not quite as dark as I originally thought it was, so it's not too bad. And you could always go back and re-stamp it if you were to have done this maybe in the Stamparatus, but I'm going to run these through. Anybody that's just joining me, thank you so much for stopping in. You write on a Post-it note. Yep. I do that a lot of times too, just because I think sometimes it's nice to get an idea from somebody, and maybe they might want to be able to send it again, or maybe they have a need for a card and they can't get out to get one, especially for some of our older family members that may still not be traveling places. So there are those. That's the thank you and the happy birthday. Okay, so that's those two. So I'm going to move off of this one, and I'm going to head to Tranquil Thoughts. So I'm just going to grab another piece of white. Okay, let me do this one again. So this one has a really nice thank you in it. I thought of you today. That's another great one that you could add. Let's do that one. I don't think I've done that one yet. And I might have to use a bigger die, but I think that could be a pretty one. Yeah, that's a nice one. Let's do two of those. So I thought of you today. And I don't think I want to do the raspberries on that one, but I want something. So we could always just do a leaf again. That'd be nice. We can even add in, and I did this before, I added in something from, I just stamped this off first. So let's see what this looks like. I'm not 100% sure. I did it for one of the other cards with the flowers. So let's see. So ink this in Poppy Parade, but we do want it to be light. So I'm just going to kind of stamp it off, and then bring it back in. So we have those two. I'm going to close this up. So again, I did say this might need a little bit longer. Yeah, this clearly needs a much longer greeting. So what you could do is you could do this with the larger stitched oval, which looks really nice. Let's try that. I'm going to do this bottom one first. And then worst case scenario, if this one overlaps, I might just do a hand trim on that one. So we'll just trim this one out. And you can certainly do more coordinated colors if you wanted to, but I kind of just wanted to be able to show you that you don't really need a lot to do it. So there's one. And then this one, because that oval will be kind of close, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just trim this. So I'm going to just bring, and you could certainly use your Stampin' trimmer. I'm going to bring this one right too. And I'm not even going to include all of that flower, because I don't want the sentiment to be that big. So I'm going to just trim up. And just trim to the end of this one. Make sure the cutting is nice and tight. So there's that. Now, one other thing I sometimes have a problem with is if it has this scripty thing, and I'm going to do this now just because I sometimes like to trim to the words and then kind of come down. This is up to you. Absolutely can do whatever you want on your card, but sometimes I think it looks nicer just to hand trim that little part there. So let me scoot these out of the way. Okay, so we have several. Let me see how many more we may need. We're going to put a couple of these together in the meantime. So I'm going to move these out of the way. And honestly, the secret to most of this stuff is that you're going to be adding potentially some dimension to your sentiments. So let me scoot this over. And we'll go with this one first. Only thing I forgot to bring downstairs with me when I did these cards, I did not bring a bone folder. So I was using my glue. That's my bone folder. So let's just take a peek. That one's a little bit busy for that. So I think this one's going to need a plain something or other. Doesn't have any, that doesn't have any red. So we're going to go with that. So I'm going to bring this. Sorry, my glue has been sitting here sealing. It's sealing up on itself. There we go. It's from the other week. This would also, if you wanted to whip out some blue, would look beautiful with a blue sentiment. But we're going to just pop this up just for sake of being simple. I'm going to pop this up on some dimensionals. Again, you're definitely going to want to add a white panel to the inside, but easy for that one. Same thing with this. And the other thing is it doesn't necessarily have to go, you know, up and down. It doesn't. You can make it go crossways instead if that's what you'd like. Where is my other piece? This one, for example. Can make it go crossways. It just kind of depends. When you do it, see if you like one side better than the other. If you would rather it be vertical card, you certainly could do that. Just kind of depends on what you want to do. You could even do this really fun I thought of you today. I like the fact that it brings out a little bit of the blue though, so I'm going to stick with the blue. I just want to see which way. I'm going to go this way, and this one's going to be a vertical card for me. And this is going to fit edge to edge. Just kind of making sure you like the way it's laid out. Okay. Same with this. What you can do is you can just simply add it flat down. Oops, you don't have to add a dimensional to it. So it can be a simple card. Okay, there's another one. Very easy. Do another of the wide. And I really like this plaid. And I'm trying to think. I think that looks kind of nice because you have the a different look with it there. So I'm going to do this one with the plaid. Because it'll really make the green and the red pop. And again, I tend to put things on the lower right for some reason, but you don't have to. You can put it in the center. You can put it wherever you think it's going to look the best. Again, I'm not really getting too crazy. I probably could put 3-dimensionals, but I don't really have to. So kind of move it around, see where you like it. I don't really like things centered. I kind of like them off to one side or the other. But easy, happy birthday card. This would also be a great pack if you wanted to mail it to someone who maybe doesn't have a lot of cards or a lot of access to getting cards out. So I'm going to save this one because this one we're going to make a blue sentiment on that one. So I'm going to go back and do a blue one. So this one we have, and you can see for these two, I've done these as a vertical card. So they open like that face up. But if you wanted to, you can also make it kind of a crossways card. So you could go like that. We have our little sentiment here. Let's do this one like that. We'll do this one differently. And you can even pop up your DSP. I did that for one or two of them where I popped the DSP up. Which way is this? This is this way. The only thing about this, because the way the strawberries are, but even though this one's going the opposite direction, I feel like maybe I should have flipped this one, but that's okay. So we have that. And then we'll just put our sentiment. And to make it easy, I'm just going to use the edge of this piece here. I think that's probably long enough, so I'm just using this little edge piece on the end. That looks good. If you have the berry punch, which I know is currently on back order, you could punch out a berry with it, but simple. It does not have to be complicated every time, and I'm talking more so to myself because I tend to make things a lot of times. It needs, you know, it needs more. It needs an extra, whatever the case may be. It needs some more such and such. It doesn't have to be like that every time. I'm going to do this one, I think, with a blue sentiment as well. I'm going to put that over there. So we'll do this one, two more here. And I just realized my little sentiment here, this must not have been dried. It's smudged just a little bit. Oh, well, what you going to do? We'll put this one. If I had red paper that I picked out, I definitely would have done red on red because that would be adorably cute. This here. Just going to glue this down. Just like so. Another fun thing you can always do to this as well. If you have your shimmer pen, you can even do some shimmer on your leaves. Now remember, your shimmer pen is going to activate your ink. So if you have a water-based ink, it's going to make it shimmery and it's going to make it blend. And I'm going to just add a little bit to my strawberry. So there's a little bit of something else and just on this one ripe side. So when you turn your card, you'll have a little bit of shimmer to it, which is always fun. And that's a super easy way to kind of dress something up. So you could add little embellishments or something, but you can also make it really, really simple. So for this one, I'm going to go with, because, and I have this one stamped, which I know I did, but I'm actually going to go with something that has green since we have really purple, green, blue, and I want to bring it back in. So I'm going to do something green. And let's see. I might do this instead. Yeah, so I'm going to go with this. And you know what? I'm going to make this one different. I'm going to pop this up on dimensional. So I'm going to stick with this one instead. I know I keep saying the opposite. I'm sorry. Changing my mind. So I want to put here, oops, here, here. And I'm going to put one on each side. And then we're going to stamp a sentiment. So I have this, and I need two of the other ones. So this one's going to be green. And then I'm going to bring in, I don't know if I want to, I think I might do navy instead of Pacific Point. So I'm going to grab this. Thank you. Because I'm just going to make simple. Thank you. Oops, I had another piece here. We'll use this one first. So I'm going to do a shaded spruce. Thank you. Here's that one. And I'm going to clean this off. So just in case you've never cleaned your Stampin' Scrub, what you have to do is eventually the ink builds up in here and you'll notice it because it's going to start making your blocks really dirty. So all you have to do is just pop it out and then rinse it under the sink. and all the ink will come out. The longest part is that you have to wait for it to dry. That's probably the longest part of the whole situation. So I'm going to do 2 thank yous. So that one is Night of Navy. And I'm going to do both of these, again, with the stitch shapes. And I'll just do 2 different ones so we don't have to wait for me to use one and die cut one. Let's see if we can fit both of those on there. Because what I'll do is I'm going to off-center this one. And I'll add a little something to it. A leaf or something. So I'm going to die cut both of these. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Diana. I hope you all are doing well. Thank you so much for joining me today. And we didn't really do too many earth-shattering things if you came in late, but you remember, it will always load for the replay, so no worries about that. So we have those 2. Let me put this to the side. And I wanted to do one more blue, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my, and I noticed I have a little cut off here because I cut it a little too shy, but I'm going to grab my Pacific Point. And I'm going to do the blueberries. Just to bring in a little something. You see how dirty these blocks are? I don't know if you can see that or not. They're really, they're very hazy looking. It's because my Stampin' Scrub is so dirty. So I know that's kind of hard to see, but it's kind of nice because it doesn't really have to be something. Same with this one. We'll put these over here so you can kind of see what they are. Again, you can always do these before. You can do them after. So I did grab Pacific Point. This needs to be re-inked. I re-inked. You guys would be so proud of me. I re-inked almost all of my stamps the other day. My ink pads, I should say. You'd be so proud of me. Boy, some of them were really bad. So I'm just bringing a little bit of color from the edge. This one I'll do the whole thing so they can kind of see that that's actually a blueberry. And then same for this one. I'm just going to ink, just bring in a little bit of ink from the edge. I'll do this whole one. So we have that. Always want to wipe out your blender pen until it's clean. And you want to have a blender pen specifically for white and black. But otherwise than that, I kind of use them all interchangeably. Let me scoot these over. I have a couple other ones here. So this one I put on dimensionals. So we only have 2. I'm going to have to grab one more. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these off. And I'll see which shape looks better, if the circle or the oval looks better. But sometimes it's kind of a fun challenge to be able to figure out what you want to do. Oops, that's upside down. And I do like the softness of this paper because it really makes it very simple to work with. So let's do, since this one's cut off, I'll do this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one dimensional here. Where do they go? They're hiding from me. And I'm actually going to put it here because it's easier to put it there than it is to get it on the back of this. And then I want to put a little bit of liquid glue. Not a lot, just a smidge. And if you wanted to, since I goofed this up, I'm going to show you a trick. Since I goofed this up, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to trim the edge of this so it doesn't hang off the back there. I want to give it just a second. And while we're at it, we'll just do a little bit of shimmer on our blueberry. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over. And you can see, this is a great trick if you ever goof up your sentiment. And then I'm just going to trim right here. So it kind of looks like you intended to cut that off. It follows the line right there. And it gives like just a little bit of a different visual interest. So there's almost always a way if you mess something up to fix it. Trust me. And if you've made the mistake, I've probably made it 14 more times. So the only other thing we're going to do with this one is we're going to make sure that our pieces line up, whoops, correctly. So we have this here. I think this goes up top. Okay, so this is how our picture is. So I kind of went like this. And I just stacked them. And then we'll pop Maybe put this over here. So I'm going to put this up on dimensionals. I am going to make sure I actually use 3 this time. So this was just a little scrap. So I'm going to put a little, oh, this would even look adorable with that. Oh, now I'm torn. Which side? Just pick this up. Let's try this. I don't know what this is going to look like. I'm going to put 3 of these down. I want to see what one looks like flipped. So there's one. I'm going to do the top and the bottom first. And just kind of make sure they're visually even. The liquid glue is nice because it gives you that moment to fix them if you mess them up. This has a lot of blueberries, so this one I think I might keep. And when we flip like that, nah, it's going to look too uneven. So I'm going to stick with this. Maybe if you didn't have such drastic pattern changes on both of them, it would be okay. But I think I'm going to keep it the other way. Instead of doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But I do really love that plaid, so that's a hard decision. Luckily, I have way more of this paper, so... All right, so there's that. And then I'm just going to pull the backs off of my dimensionals. And just kind of look. See where you think it looks best. Where do you think it looks good? I'm going to kind of go with here. And I got a little... Oh, I must have got a little teeny bit of ink. I must have activated something here because I have a little bit of ink. So I'm going to wait till that dries. But there's one more. And then I only have 2 other pieces left. So I have this and I have this one here. And I only did 1 sentiment. And this definitely, the red isn't going to catch it. The green would look probably pretty nice. So let me just pull one other thing. I want to see if there's anything else that I could just pop in there really quickly. Blueberries. Always remember would be nice. You shouldn't have, but I'm glad you did. Let's do that one, and we're just going to do it in green because I don't have a base for the other one, and that way it'll kind of wrap up everything we have here. Let me see. I know I had another little teeny scrap that was a line. Look at this. I messed that one up how many times? So we'll use the other side. And I'm going to do this in navy. So I'm just going to grab my pad here. I think the other reason that all my stamp pads needed to be inked as well, oh, that's crooked, hold on, is because it's so dry, and sometimes you just don't take into account how dry things are in the winter. And it just really sucks the moisture out of your ink pads. I'm going to give this just a second to dry, and I'm going to grab my slightly larger scissors so I can cut in one straight line. Okay, and I'm just going to snip these up like so. All right. So one other thing, I will not be live on Saturday. We're actually, we're taking Rainbow Stamper to Cabela's on Saturday morning. And it's usually best to get there early if you can. So I won't be live on Saturday. If for some reason I can wing something on Sunday, I certainly will, but I'm not 100% sure, so I don't want to say it and then not do it. So let's see. So again, we're trying to go for simple, so we could have something. We could put this on top, but I almost think it would get lost. So what if we put this up and then we put this maybe across? That's going to be a good one. Let's do that. So this will be our final. Ooh, maybe we should do this side. What you guys think? Let's do this one. I think we need to do a little bit of that plaid. We're going to go on the other side. There we go. Okay. So, aside, we didn't use one piece. Just one, which isn't too bad. Maybe I'll just pop out a piece of green real quick, but I don't know that that red's going to match it. So I'm kind of centering. Let me see. I might have this open correctly. Yep. Kind of centering that. And I want to put a little piece of dimensional over here. So I'm going to just use, again, that same little strip. There's just a little piece. That's all I really need. Put this here. So we're kind of eyeballing where we want it. We'll say right about there. Hopefully looks pretty good. Peel off the release paper, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. And I'm actually going to put the glue all the way across. That way when I put this down, in case I goof it up, I have a little wiggle room. So we'll say like that. Simple, 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 simple. Just like that, right? So a bunch of nice, easy cards. Again, if I probably would have stamped this with a different color palette, I could have even mounted this, but these two colors are just going to clash. So I'm going to have to save this for another day. I could always save this for another sentiment as well. Let me just put a few of these things out of the way, and I will show you what we did. So we did use Poppy Parade. Could have gone with Real Red as well. We used Night of Navy, Pacific Point, and Shaded Spruce. Let me just move just a couple of these things so you can see everything we did. But not really with a plan. I mean, I did kind of replicate the cards we created the other day, but they weren't exact. It wasn't even the same paper. And we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. So that was a fast 8 cards. Happy birthday, thank you, thinking of you, whatever the case may be. Lots of impact with really, quite frankly, not a lot of work. The paper is 12 by 12, so I did cut it down to 6 by 6, and I found that if I actually do cut it down, I am more likely to use it. So that's why I've been doing that as well. It definitely helps me to use up. I have used way more paper than I probably ever have in my demonstrator or stamping life prior to that, because I've actually been cutting it. So, and cover it with a gem. I saw that. If you do a boo-boo, that's a great idea. You can always cover it with a gem. And I have been storing my I have my rhinestones and my pearls. I kind of had them together because I tend to lose them. I got these little envelopes from Stampin' Storage. These are the same ones that actually I have my magnet sheets in. So with the magnet sheet, it has this backing on it and it fits in there. But then I had some extras of these. So I saw somebody else did this. I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Angie Judah. She had hers organized. And I was like, that is a brilliant idea because it's easy, not too difficult to do. So I'm just going to check over really quickly. Oh, my scissor gems. Thank you. I actually got these for Silver Elite. This was a prize that they sent out to us. I think it was for On Stage this past November. So I've never had these before. They are really cute. I like the fact that you can put your tip in there. That way nobody's going to run up, little people is who I'm talking about that live in this house. Nobody's going to run up and grab the pointy scissors because, you know, these are sharp. Cut your arm off with those. But really simple with oh, you put yours on the top rack of your dishwasher. That's a good idea. You know, another really good thing. Are you talking about the scrub? The actual scrubby part, Cindy? As I was talking about pulling this and rinsing, do you do this in the dishwasher? I'm going to wait and see what you say. These, you can actually clean. Look how you can see how filthy that is. You can actually see the stamp through there. You can actually clean these, too, if you have extra hand sanitizer that you're not using that gets them off really, really well. But even just with, like, dish soap and then water and dry them, they come really, really clean. But, oh, you put your scrubby in the dishwasher. I never would have thought of that. That's a great idea. Because then it'll be sanitized as well. That's smart. Thanks, Cindy, for sharing that. I would not have thought of that. What a smart idea. On a top rack, though, probably for sure, right? So, hi, Colette. The stamping off is just enough. It always looks nice. Plus, I think the nice thing, again, we only stamped this and then just brought the ink inside with the what do they call them? I'm going to call these blends. The blender pens. I wanted to call this a Stampin' blend with the blender pen. So really, we only used 2 inks on here as well. And it still was pretty simple. And let me make sure I didn't need anything else. Write it on a post-it note. I saw that. Oh, your snail's on back order. That stinks. Oh, my goodness. Watching me on the big screen. Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate it. And I do love blue. Blue is such a beautiful paper. I really, really love it. So, these aren't difficult. Very, very simple cards. You use a wood stamp case for your gems. That's a good idea, too. I have those, but those I actually was keeping my chamois in, and they're so far over there. If I wanted to use them, I would have to make you guys wait, and I hate doing that anyway. But thank you guys, as always, for joining me. I will put all of the descriptions, and I'll take pictures of all the cards and post them to my blog. So in case you missed anything or you wanted to see something close up, I will put all those on there later. Thank you all, as always, so much for joining me. And I know it was a little bit early. Since it is nice, I might start going a little bit earlier, just that way we don't run into dinner or bedtime quite as long. But thank you guys for joining me today. If you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel here. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button, which is right down here. And then if you click the bell, it will tell you every time I go live or post a new video. And hopefully you'll get some new ideas. I am always looking for suggestions. If you want to see something made, please let me know, because I love making things that you guys ask for. So again, if you have questions about how to use something or technique maybe you want to see, in case you missed these the other day, we made these really fun, like a diorama window card, which are super cute. This one I couldn't put in an envelope, so because I didn't put my darn flamingo over far enough, but this one I want to show you does fit in there. This is the alligator that we made, and then when you pull him out, he'll stand up. So this one was really, really cute, and I think these are super fun. Also, I think the fact of having like a little bit of interactivity with your card makes it more exciting, especially if you're sending it to a little one, because they always think that's cute. But this will fit because this is the same size as a regular mailing envelope, so it will fit in an envelope, which is awesomely cool as well. So just make sure if you do this with the flamingo, you put it over. Maybe you should have been here and I should have stamped that one over there, but oh well, you live and you learn. This one, if you missed any of these videos, I do load all of my YouTube lives here to Facebook. I just don't put my YouTubes onto Facebook. So if you miss anything on Facebook, you can always scroll back through. Again, I appreciate you guys taking time to comment and stop in and see me. One other thing, I have a lot of prizes to give away, but you have to leave a comment after the live, which stinks. And I do apologize, but that's kind of the way YouTube works, unfortunately. So when this video ends, make sure you go back and leave a comment, and the comment will be Berry, B-E-R-R-Y. Leave Berry. I have lots of prizes to draw for. I still have a few other prizes that no one claims, so I have to pull those. I have one person's prize to post. I believe it was Colette is the one that told me, so I have to mail hers out. But I have lots of prizes, so when this is over, type Berry. So go back and leave Berry as a comment, and I will do a drawing probably on Sunday, and that way I can put them in the mail Monday. And hopefully you guys will get them sometime, hopefully before the end of the week. But you know how the mail is. It's still a little goofy. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again real soon. Have a wonderful rest of your week.